Thank you very much. My name is Benny J. I will take this theme as a slightly different tune, as I had quite an interesting childhood that I'm going to traumatize you with, which is great. So, I welcome you to join me. I do start with a warning, this is going to get pretty heavy. If you do need to leave, please do. So, if you want to make it a really deep experience, you're welcome to close your eyes. So, we start the story at the entrance of Prince of Wales Children's Hospital in Randwick, Sydney, Australia, where I was born and grew up. Standing there with my mother and a family friend who was also a babysitter. I don't remember exactly why she was there. I was 9 years old, and 6 weeks prior I had just had my first major knee reconstruction in an attempt to stop my left knee from doing that, which is dislocating. Walking into the hospital, I remember seeing the faded yellow bricks of the outside and the white cantilevered awning over the front with the silver letters of the hospital. Walking into the foyer, with the smell of the hospital, waiting room directly in front, faded sort of brown yellow walls, and this vinyl floor that's green, that curves up with the walls so that they can knock any liquids that they need to. We make our way to the lift, to the elevator. It's one of those old, this is about 1992, it's one of those old lifts with the space to bring in hospital beds, metallic floor to ceiling buttons on the side, noisy mechanical sounds, nothing else as we go up to the second floor. Come out into a hallway lit by fluorescent lighting, no natural light in the hallway along. We go to the waiting room. There's that typical sort of old 80s style, big square room, green floor, coffee tables in the middle, black seating all around, plastic seating with those connecting sort of hand rails, with only 2 legs on the floor for 6 seats. Most uncomfortable things you can ever imagine. 3 of us walk in there, register with the nurse, and then we wait. I was born with a rare disease. It's called nail patella syndrome, and the operation, as I said, was to stop this. And I was there to have the plaster cast that went from my leg all the way from the top of my leg to my ankle, to get that removed, and the stitches that run from here to here, 23 centimetres long. I was told roughly about 200 stitches to be removed. That's what we were waiting for. My name was called. We got up, we went into the examination room that had one of those surgery beds on. There was a trainee nurse there for the day. She started up the electric saw, and if you've ever had a plaster cast on, will cut through the plaster, but when it touches the skin it just feels like a nice warm sort of fuzzy feeling, doesn't do any damage. She cut the plaster off on both sides, lifted it off, and I was greeted with a leg that hadn't been used in 6 weeks, and I was already about 18 kilos as it was. And right down the middle was this line that was creased in blood. And in the middle you could see just faintly the thread of the blue stitching. There was a knot at one end and one knot at the other end. The stitches were mostly internal. The nurse made a mistake and only cut one knot. family friend was waiting in the waiting room that was about 50 metres away. And the entire waiting room could hear me scream. The nurse, for some reason we don't know why, decided to pull the stitching the entire way through 23 centimetres of my flesh. It was one of the most painful experiences I've ever had when I was 9 years old. I had to go through that surgery 2 more times. So needless to say, by the time I was a teenager, I was pretty much done with hospitals. It's inspired me these days to do experiences like that. Has inspired me now when my health has deteriorated again to do this Project 117, just to live till I'm 117 years old, and to document it, and I document my pain and my life and living with a rare disease online on Instagram and through poetry, which I'm going to finish with today. It's called Waiting Room. Plastic chairs. Always fucking plastic chairs. Floors that are so squeaky clean. Angry patients not yet seen. Sometimes the TV plays silently as I try to sit somewhere privately. The waiting game begins. Eyes flicker nervously, identifying threats, inquisitive of others. What gives them grief? Can I possibly relate? Mispronounced names repeated, we each in turn shuffle forward to the monster that waits to tell us our fate. Plastic chairs, always fucking plastic chairs. I stop by the front desk, feeling somewhat Kafkaesque. I know I'll be back here soon, to this dreaded waiting room. Thank you very much for letting me share that. Thank you very much.